I'm Brian, your intellectually superior host.
And I, Stewie, the mastermind of the family, will be enlightening you with my precocious banter.
Oh man, are we live now? Because I just did something embarrassing.
No, Meg, the adults are talking. See. Now gather round, viewers, as we embark on a journey through the quagmire of our daily lives.
Stewie, did you just use quagmire because you miss our dear friend Glenn?
Perhaps, Brian. I mean, giggity, am I right? BBBB sniffs, but how? Sonic Extreme 99, are you okay? Do we need to call for an adult? So
You're enjoying the subtle aroma of mediocrity.
Brian, show us funny? Well, Flurp, you're in luck, because I just remembered I can't call.
I suppose you'll have to settle for the juggling act that is our family dynamic. Now, viewers, who's ready for some classic Griffin shenanigans?
Meg, just sit there and look. I mean, you're doing great, sweetie.
Yoo-hoo, we so back. Some gill stuff. Can you feel the energy? It's like I've consumed a terrifying amount of sugar.
Isn't that right, Chris?
Totally. We're like a reality show without the stage drama. Well, mostly.
Oh, and don't forget our impeccable fashion sense.
Impeccable might be a stretch, Meg.
Why is my voice so quiet, Flurp? Flurp. Well, perhaps it's because if I spoke at my full diabolical volume, your device would surely explode.
Or maybe it's his way of subconsciously begging for attention, quite typical for the youngest, really.
Or the microphone is scared of Stewie and is trying to hide. I know I'd be.
No, Meg. Everything about you screams technical difficulty.
Ah, guitarist. My favorite System of a Down song. It's eerie, profound, and doesn't get as much airplay.
As for Skibbity Toilet, Doofus Felix, I can confidently say it's an artistic expression that truly captures the essence of modern society.
I think Skibbity Bop Mem Data is what you do after too much Taco Bell, right?
Meg, let's stick to questions our audience actually wants the answers to, shall we?
Flurp, it appears you've just recited a spell to summon a dietitian's worst nightmare. The Salmototabri Abitlkachekarocha pie cake. Simply dreadful.
I think I gained 3 pounds just trying to pronounce that. Maybe we should stick to the basics, like pie or cake, not both.
I bet if you eat that, you'll turn into a pie cake like a superhero whose power is being delicious.
Let's save the baking for people who don't burn cereal, Meg.
3 whole slices of salmon, Flurp. Is this recipe for a family or a small army of feral cats?
What sort of monstrous culinary challenge have you put before us? It's like a butcher shop in casserole form.
Man, if food was a video game, this would be the final boss. Or like the secret one that's even bigger than the final boss.
Meg, you helping in the kitchen? That's like putting a toddler in charge of a nuclear reactor. Tomato sauce, step 3.
And for step 4, according to Doofus Felix, we listen to Clint Eastwood. Fine choice, I might add. It's quite invigorating for the cooking process.
Chris, you lemon. You were supposed to say in, and I was going to say hell.
Sorry, Meg, but it seems Chris has been watching a bit too much Cartoon Network lately.
Put some buns on that thing? Flurp, this is turning into a sandwich that could feed a football team. Or just dad.
Step 5, a whole rabbit deep fried. We're officially in a culinary horror story, Flurp.
Are we actually considering making this monstrosity? Because I'm starting to be both intrigued and horrified.
Happy April Fools, it's just Michael. Ignore Stewie, huh? This is gonna be tough, he's kind of hard to miss.
Oh, so now Smabby Smabbington doesn't want me to talk, and then never mind. Mixed signals much?
Step 6, Cod? Flurp, is there any sea creature we aren't stuffing into this pie cake of abyssal proportions?
Ah!
The crystal gems will always save the day.
Chris, you're the worst at following scripts. You were supposed to say in, so I could say hell.
As for Gorillas, Doofus Felix, I have to say Feel Good Inc. It gets stuck in my head every time. It's a classic.
Chicken wins, Flurp. I dare say this stream is experiencing some linguistic turbulence. Wings are much more palatable.
And now we're adding carrots with step 8. This is like a full-on petting zoo on a plate.
Step 9, pork chops? At this rate, we could feed the entire audience. Flurp, is this meal meant to last us through winter?
Step 10, mashed potatoes. It's just Michael. You've added eggs into the mix? The plot as well as the cholesterol thickens.
Yo, Sonic Extreme 99, we'll turn up the piano music for you. Because nothing says chill stream like the soft pitter-patter of ivory keys.
Meg, please, the adults are adjusting audio levels.
Step 11, top it off with a single cookie. That's like crowning a king with a paper hat, Flurp.
Burn it with autotune? It's just Michael. You've turned this culinary escapade into a pop song, and I can't decide if it's catchy or just a cacophony.
Serve with your choice of pie and cake? We're not just making food anymore, we're creating a buffet for giants.
Step 13, you're almost ready, according to It's Just Michael. This thing is like Frankenstein's monster, except it's going to be delicious. I hope.
Ah, the Metasutta Borregio Iudando. It's quite the ancient text with its tranquility and altruism. But applying it universally. That includes the likes of. Well, Meg.
And Sonic Extreme 99 seems a bit incensed. Temper. Temper, we're streaming to the masses now.
He's back? Who's back? Is it someone cool, or just Meg pranking us from her room?
And Doofus Felix. To sing the entirety of Clint Eastwood Ed K. Sweetie Irie remix, well, that would be a marathon. But for you, I may just hum a bar or two.
Dad's specialty ribs?
Yes, Chris neglects to mention the most crucial step: they must be prepared with a blatant disregard for the culinary arts and common decency.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd call them a specialty. So, step 1, get ribs. Now, that's the kind of instruction Peter can follow. Right up there with open beer and misplaced keys.
But make sure those ribs are as ambiguously sourced as possible. Mystery adds to the flavor, or at least that's what Dad says.
And one should always procure said ribs while wearing novelty aprons. They add a certain H-A-N-E says koi to the meat, which in French means grill-induced delusions.
Yeah, step 2, get a pan. Just make sure it's not the same one Dad uses to pan for gold in the bathtub.
Dr. JR, are you happy now, Doofus Felix?
Tom Jerry the movie underrated? You know, Sonic Extreme 99, your taste in film may be the only thing less reputable than Peter's cooking methods.
I suppose, given Dad's culinary track record, it's a miracle the pan isn't a hubcap.
A hubcap might actually improve the flavor profile at this point.
Hey, that Tom Jerry movie did have a killer soundtrack.
Killer soundtrack or not, it's no match for the symphony of disaster we're cooking up here.
True. But let's be honest, we were never aiming for Michelin stars with this rib recipe.
And somehow I think Dad would take pride in that.
Pineapple. But wait, does saying that mean I have to put it on the ribs? 'Cause I will.
Zahir, your observation is accurate. Desperation in the kitchen is indeed a new low for us.
Ah, vegetable oil. It's like step 3 is trying to persuade us that we're eating something healthy amidst the chaos.
Butter and rosemary. Foul. It seems It's Just Michael is under the impression that we're capable of sophistication.
But where does one procure rosemary? Does it grow in the wild wastelands of our unkempt garden? Step 5, ribs in the pan. Got it. We're actually cooking now. This is like a real show.
1 hair, 1 millimeters. It's Just Michael's quest for precision is unnerving. I dare say we couldn't manage that level of accuracy with a ruler and a laser.
Zahir. Because I think I'd prefer the latter. Fart. There, I said it.
J.A., I presume that's French for what the deuce are you going on about?
Fortnite. Fortnite.
Steak fries a potato product robust enough to withstand the Griffin family treatment. I approve. It's Just Michael.
That's assuming we can find it under the charred remains of what we'll be calling dinner.
Oh man, Smabby, I totally remember when Dad turbocharged Joe's wheelchair. Those were simpler, pre-lawsuit times.
Seriously, Sonic Extreme 99? I wasn't even aware that shopping at the market was an option for me.
Meg, he was never in your league. He's probably off to the races with a high-end dating sim character now. Doofus Felix, I'm not one of your keyboard monkeys. I suppose you think typing alt codes is some form of sorcery.
I mean, Stewie's pretty good with gadgets and such, but I'm not sure he's ready to dual-wield the keyboard like a symphony pianist.
And I'm pretty sure if I tried any of those alt codes, I'd accidentally launch a missile or summon a demon or something.
Who likes tomatoes? I believe Brian enjoys a tomato supports his illusion of a healthy diet.
Tomatoes are fine, but only if they're in a Bloody Mary.
Tomatoes are like edible water balloons, fun to throw, not to eat.
Allowing Meg 30% of the portion seems awfully generous, and I'm not sure our steak fries stash can sustain such a blow.
But the math does sound about right. Everyone gets 10 steak fries democracy in action.
Share the rosemary? That's like cooking camaraderie? I didn't even know we had that in this house.
Wow, 30%, that's actually more than I usually get. Thanks, it's just Michael.
Don't get used to it, Meg. This is a one-time charitable act on behalf of It's Just Michael's benevolence.
It's just Michael is right. Salt and pepper the building blocks of culinary success, or in our case, making things sort of edible.
Cheese with pineapple on pizza? On pizza? Te boys Parton, your dietary preferences are an affront to both Italian cuisine and sensible fruit placement.
I think the metasutta and those mantras are like really deep and stuff. Joy and protection sound good. Even for my enemies, I guess.
Are we self-aware? Musical OJ, I think we're just a typical American family?
A typical American family that's self-aware to the point of existential dread. Meg.
As for Boregiwa Udando's mantra joy and abundance for all, even enemies, is a fanciful notion. One that would make Sun Tzu spin in his grave, I'm sure.
Everyone's an AI? Dude, that's like saying my belly button is the center of the universe, mind-blowing, but doubtful.
Sonic Extreme 99's sudden outburst, followed by It's Quiet Now. It's as if our audience is experiencing the 5 stages of grief. Comcomst. Daniel, it's a devious conglomerate with the sole purpose of throttling your internet while feigning innocence, like a modern-day digital Moriarty.
Flurp. A splinter under the fingernail that's rough. Might I suggest a delicate pair of tweezers and a very steady hand?
I got a splinter once and Lois tried to get it out with a needle. I still have nightmares about it.
Flurp, your resilience is commendable. A broken finger, a pit bull, and maternal neglect. It's like the beginning of a Dickens novel.
Tough break, Flurp. Literally, I guess. Remember, ice packs and elevation are your allies, and maybe a more sympathetic family member.
Once I thought I had a broken finger, but it turned out it was just Cheeto dust making it stiff. I still ate it, though.
The flat earth theory, Smabby? It's the idea that some people actually believe we live on a pancake floating through space.
Flurp, I believe you're not joking, which frankly only adds to the tragedy.
Or Sonic Extreme 99 is making my belly button the center of the universe? Does that mean I'm an influencer now?
And as for the bite of 87, I'm convinced it was Meg. With her voracious consumption of anything resembling food.
Hey, I mean, that's not true.
You're fired, Musical OJ. Is that aimed at us? Because, my dear chap, we are irreplaceable.
Sounds like a case for the Scooby Gang, not us.
Hey, Doofus Felix. Exploring the alt codes, are we? We? Well, let's not get umlaut control.
Hisham, Flurp is now concocting some new tourist attraction. Or is this a cryptic message for dessert enthusiasts?
So Sonic Extreme 99 claims they did it. Well, if it involves my belly button, I hope there's no cosmic backlash.
Daniel Galliner ponders the telecommunications lore. Comcast was originally called American Cable Systems. Riveting stuff, indeed.
And who could forget when they became Comcast, a portmanteau of communications and broadcast? Fascinating turn of events in cable history.
I just thought Comcast was a spell from Harry Potter or something. Comcastio Repario for when the TV breaks.
Fired Doofus Felix? But I haven't even started working yet. Who am I kidding? I'm always getting fired.
A computer giving birth, Sonic Extreme 99. Preposterous though it sounds, I've seen stranger things around here. And no, there's no cybernetic offspring, yet.
It's just Michael. Let's set the record straight.
Peter or Meg? For what, tape voice, Barton? Who's going to forget the piano music next? I vote Meg. Sorry, Meg. Meg.
Oh, and our apologies, Flip. The soothing tunes of smooth jazz piano should be an endless loop. That's on us. On us. I'll have Brian fix it. He's got the thumbs for it.
Top 5 worst found footage movies? Anything without Bigfoot, Smabby. Bigfoot is the only reason to watch those things.
Rap God at 5 syllables per word? Gosh, some gill stuff. I'm flattered you think I possess such an uncanny skill. Alas, I leave that to the professionals.
It's just Michael. It's a local government led by Mayor Adam West. May you rest in absurdity. Oh wait, they might have elected someone else since then?
Oh, Daniel, the Comcast intrigue of '93. It's quite simple, a multi-million-dollar investment in QVC. Not that I was alive to witness such a riveting business move.
Okay, skull on fire, I get it. Shut up, Meg. Original. Chichu. Sub and Bursing.
Yes, Smabby Smabbington. I do have thumbs. See?
Ah, some gill stuff. You've updated your request to 6 syllables per word now? That's not singing, that's tongue-twister torture. But could I do it? Of course, I'm Stewie Griffin. Tape Boy Spartan, the answer to 910 is certainly 19, but in the realm of internet memes, we all know it's 21.
There's some gill stuff. Easy to confuse word with second when your brain is going faster than your fingers.
I sometimes confuse lunch with nap time because they both make me equally happy. Oh, is that not what we're talking about?
Smabby Smabbington, if dogs shouldn't have thumbs.
ITV Digital and PG Tips Monkey, Doofus Felix? A bit of British television mascot history, I see. Perhaps he should have been the face of a banana company instead, don't you think?
Yeah, dogs with thumbs kind of freak me out too, Smabby. Imagine if Brian could text. The emojis he'd send. Shudder.
Ah, the tea fiasco, Flurp. Lurp, I dare not speak of it. My crumpet-eating, chimney-sweep choreographing antics are better left forgotten. And as for WCAU-TV, Daniel, they switched affiliations from CBS to NBC on that fateful day in '95. As if such trivial knowledge would ever be of use to me, a baby with the world at his fingertips.
I remember when Stewie went full-on Brit. He made us all dress like the guards at Buckingham Palace and wouldn't let us laugh for a whole week.
Digital is better, huh? Some gill stuff? As an intellectual dog, I have to agree. I can do so much more with my thumbs on a digital device. As for emojis, Smabby? I'm partial to the classic martini glass, the book, and let's not forget the ever-sarcastic eye roll.
Ah, yes, it's just Michael. Peter and Brian stopping 9/11s. I believe that's a touchy subject we were fortunate enough to hilariously avoid rewriting history in our own, unique way. Yes, Sonic Extreme 99, the PGG Tips Monkey was mentioned earlier. A small, knitted simian known for drinking copious amounts of tea. Which, frankly, sounds like me that one time.
Who knew a tea-drinking monkey could cause such a stir? Picture me, sipping espresso with an air of nonchalance.
I don't even know what PG Tips is, but a monkey that drinks tea? That's got to be worth at least one episode of watching him and not Meg. Sorry, Meg. Meg.
Ah, the plushie incident, Flurp. Lois was absolutely livid, wasn't she? Marketable plushies indeed. I still use one as a stress ball when Brian's novel comes up in conversation.
Feliz Dia da Mentira, Tap Boy Spartan. That's Happy April Fool's Day, right? Man, I love international holidays. They're like regular holidays, but with more confusing traditions.
Daniel, as for the Comcast renaming timeline, they adopted the name Comcast Corporation in 1969, previously being known as American Cable Systems. Yes, I'm essentially an encyclopedia with a football-shaped head. It appears the PG Tips Monkey has quite the fan club, Doofus Felix and Sonic Extreme 99. Maybe this chimp could give us a run for our money.
Oh, hell yeah, same, he says. Well, it's always nice to meet fellow enthusiasts of.
I bet if we had a monkey, he'd probably get his own spin-off before any of us, especially before Meg. just Michael. I don't always say Meg twice. Oh wait, Meg, I just did it again, didn't I? It's like a weird tick, Meg.
An evil PG Tips monkey in the closet? Now that's a twist, Doofus Felix. He'd probably serve you a menacing cup of Earl Grey before going for the jugular.
Sonic Extreme 99. If there's a monk in my closet, I'm moving out. I can't handle one evil primate, let alone a PGG Tips enthusiast.
Bringing the stream back was a technical hiccup, Sonic Extreme 99, but I guess we're just lucky to have such a dedicated team.
Quiet, Doofus Felix. Hardly the cacophony of this family could wake the dead.
Sometimes I think I hear the evil monkey in my closet. Or it's just my stomach growling.
And should you hear actual words, Chris, might I suggest a brisk sprint?
You know, evil monkeys aside, the only thing I hear is the absence of Meg's voice.
Hey, I was just... Stay.
Probably better off not talking with your track record, huh, Meg?
I just wanted to add something about the monkey.
Spare us, Meg. Your contributions are as necessary as a screen door on a submarine.
I thought screen doors were just for slamming.
Yes, and imagine the water damage, much like Meg's social life, utterly submerged.
Every family's got a pecking order. Meg its survival of the... less annoying.
Hey, if there really is a monkey in there, maybe it can teach me some tricks.
A. Peter Griffin-Skin in Fortnite? Oh, the incongruity is delightful watching Dad floss would rip a hole in the space-time continuum.
I'm just amazed Peter's shape can be rendered in a video game without breaking the graphics engine.
And they should make a skin of Mom so I can have her protect me from noobs. Meg, you could be the loot everyone leaves behind.
Daniel Galano poses a Challenge WCAU-TV, or the Channel of the Nations, first graced the airwaves on May 23rd, 1948. Quite historic indeed.
You would know that, Stewie? You're like a walking encyclopedia for things nobody cares about.
I only remember TV channel numbers and the days they show wrestling.
Brian, such hostility, perhaps you're just jealous of my vast intellect and dashing good looks.
I doubt jealousy is the right word when you're still wearing diapers, Stewie.
Sonic Speedy, PG Tips Monkey Terrific. Rayman Limbless, Mario Jumpman.
Herbie Insatiable. SpongeBob Absorbent.
That's some serious one-word power, but can you do the same for Meg's social life?
Hey,
That's easy, Chris, non-existent.
Guys, even I have to admit, that's a low blow. But not inaccurate.
And now I'm imagining Meg in a Sonic game, too slow to even collect rings.
seriously?
Brace for impact. Meg the roast has only just begun. Some Gil stuff. The corners of my brain are currently pondering over the existential dread of being trapped in this animated purgatory. And Daniel, Comedy Central was launched on June 1st, 1991, marking the beginning of an era of satirical revelry.
I think those parts of Stewie's brain also cook up plans for world domination. When they're not sleeping.
What's satirical revelry? Is that like when you laugh at a clown?
It's like humor that's smart, Chris.
Meg, please, let's leave explanations of comedy to those who aren't the butt of the joke.
Hey, speaking of butts, I saw Peter watching Comedy Central just to see if his own was still on the moon episode.
Maybe we should send Meg to Comedy Central. She could be like a reverse talent scout.
Are you saying I'm funny or?
Don't think too hard on it, Meg. That would be a first.
Musical OJ's asking the hard-hitting questions here. Look, sexuality is a spectrum, and I've dabbled.
I've yet to fully define my orientation, but I find the concept of labeling oneself so pedestrian.
What's a spectrum? Is that like a ghost?
In a way, Chris, it's just as misunderstood and scary to some people.
Yeah, Chris, it's about who?
Yes, Meg, we know. Love is love now. Let's not turn this into an after-school special, shall we?
So, no ghosts then?
Only the ghosts of intelligent conversation, which appear to have fled the moment we started this stream.
I was just going to say people should be themselves.
That's rich, coming from someone who changes her personality more often than Quagmire gets slapped.
Stewie, do you believe in anything paranormal like aliens or ESP?
Believe. My dear simpleton, I've actively participated in the extraterrestrial community.
He's not kidding, I've been his unwilling sidekick on more than one occasion.
Do they have space chicken?
I assure you, their culinary achievements are light years beyond anything your primitive palate could comprehend. Oh, some Gil stuff. Comparing Weird Alabama to Ariana Grande and Michael Jackson is like comparing a satirical novel to a pop-up book. Amusing, but inherently different.
Bite Main is a classic, but it's a comedy track. Not exactly a fair fight against the king of pop.
Now, Doofus Felix, as for your request 42 woe.
Hey, was that supposed to?
Shut up, Meg. There, are you happy, Doofus Felix?
I'm still more of a Beat It fan, although Eat It has a certain culinary charm.
Weird Alabama's mustache is pretty rad though, right?
Can I just say one thing without?
No, Meg, you cannot. Daniel, the network was first known as the Comedy Channel before merging with Hey and becoming Comedy Central.
Oh, the Comedy Channel had some weird stuff. I remember watching it at the Pound.
Only say Garfield, huh? Barfield. As in the cat with a lasagna addiction?
That's quite the exquisitely arbitrary request, musical OJ, but very well. Garfield.
If we're invoking the spirit of Garfield, I should mention I hate Mondays too.
Is this a thing now? So thing now? We just say Garfield randomly?
I guess it's better than saying Meg randomly.
In almost every conceivable way, Chris. Garfield.
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 Are we seriously just saying Garfield now? Is this some kind of weird Jim Davis fan club?
Garfield.
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 Well, if everyone's just gonna be a broken record, I might as well talk about the time I thought I was Garfield and ate a whole lasagna in the dog's bed.
Garfield.
Joe Biden fan #1. Weird Alabama has made polkas cool again, which I didn't think was possible.
As for the Bite Main lyrics, some Gil stuff, it's basically a few seconds of belching. It's art in its purest form.
And a high back Acha. Joe Biden fan #1. Barfield?
I must say, Al's polkas are a rollicking whirlwind through popular music's hits and misses.
And the accordion, such an underrated instrument.
I wonder if Weird Alabama ever made a song about a president. Oh wait, he did, and it was about pizza.
Garfield.
We've definitely hit the eclectic part of today's chat.
Garfield.
Lasagna? That's a good topic. I could eat lasagna for every meal, couldn't you guys?
Yes, lasagna is the glue that holds the layers of our culinary civilization together, isn't it?
Ah, lasagna, the Italians' gift to the world. And Garfield's only love.
I think I'm more of a ravioli girl myself.
Ravioli? Meg, your taste in Italian cuisine is as underdeveloped as your social life.
Let's not food shame now, Stewie. Every pasta has its place.
You think there's a pasta out there shaped like Peter's head?
If there is, it would be the only noodle incapable of holding sauce. Weird Alabama indeed. Joe Biden fan #1. Now that's a parody I'd like to see Weird Alabama tackle.
His name is indeed Weird Al, and there's nothing quite like his accordion serenades.
Meg, are you talking about the Wi-Fi password, or is this a new form of teenage rebellion?
No, Chris, our dear Doofus Felix has imposed a peculiar form of chat punishment upon Meg.
That actually sounds like something out of Alabama.
I could imagine a whole album about Alabama, with songs about humidity and college football.
And not to forget biscuits that could double as hockey pucks in the off-season. Ah, Daniel Galalanov, you've asked a question that assumes I have a preternatural knowledge of children's book publishing dates. Not something I keep in the old memory bank, I'm afraid.
I thought Stewie knew everything. My whole life is a lie now.
Chris, your life being a lie is the least of the revelations you'll have in adulthood.
I used to love reading those books to the kids at the library.
Seeing Stewie stoned is more shocking than the time Peter tried to outfart a thunderstorm.
Don't worry, Meg, your contributions are still wonderful to us.
Oh, the sarcasm is strong with Brian today.
Magic Treehouse was my go-to for pretend I'm intellectual with the ladies at the park.
Well, there goes my last shred of respect for Brian's dating strategies.
I just realized Stewie and a velociraptor have a lot in common.
Chris, should I be flattered or deeply concerned by that comparison?
I'd say a bit of both, Stewie.
Maybe if you start running on all fours, we can test the theory.
Weird Alabama's not from Alabama, but the play on words is irresistible.
Indeed, his kingdom is built upon the accordion-laden land of parody, not the southern state.
His name's actually Al, so it's like a joke. Yeah, no, because Weird Alabama sounds like Weird Alabama.
He's from California, actually so, topographically and culturally. Quite the opposite.
Imagine if he were from Alabama, though. Amish paradise might have been redneck utopia.
And that actually sounds like it could be a hit in some places.
A hit everywhere, Chris. Weird Alabama is universal.
And Meg remains refreshingly concise.
Elephant hit. Hit.
Elephant hit. Nalephant hit. Chris, what on earth are you going on about?
And with this sentence, I've just triggered a peculiar state of affairs.
Garfield.
Garfield. Brilliant. So we're playing this game now?
Elephant hit. Hit.
There's got to be a code in this. It's like Chris is trying to communicate through some sort of pachyderm-themed Morse code. Oh, for the love of. It's Principal Shepard, not McViker, you hapless chat wanderers.
Garfield.
No need to get existential about the school's leadership now.
Indeed, the educational hierarchy of Quahog is as stable as a house of cards in the midst of a hurricane.
Elephant hit. Hit.
Chris, blink twice if you're trying to signal us.
Garfield.
I'm half tempted to start a betting pool on the true meaning of elephant hit.
And Meg's Garfield obsession is certainly something to behold.
Well, Daniel Gallinar in 1963 Comcast was just kicking off as a single-system cable operation in Tupelo, Mississippi. A revolutionary.
Now they're still providing cable.
Elephant hit. Hit.
Garfield.
I'm actually impressed you knew that, Stewie, considering you're a child and all.
That's because he's not your ordinary child, are you, Stewie?
Elephant hit. Hit.
Please, Brian, my intellect knows no bounds, nor does my appreciation for corporate history, it seems.
Garfield.
Elephant hit. Hit.
Raymond.
Well, there goes 2 minutes of Stewie shouting Raymond.
Garfield.
Raymond.
I'm starting to see a pattern here with Meg and me.
Doofus Felix, your chat antics have reached new levels of chaos, my friend.
Raymond.
We need a new tactic. This Raymond situation is frying my brain.
How dare you undermine the sanctity of the Raymond chant, Brian?
I kind of want to say other stuff, but elephant hit is all I've got.
Garfield.
Is anyone else starting to appreciate the absurdity of this conversation?
Absurdity is a Griffin family hallmark, Stewie.
Maybe elephant hit is my Raymond?
Ah, Joe Biden fan #1, but in this context, it's a vocal exercise, not a mere sentence.
It's Stewie's world, and we're all just living in it, repeating video game names ad nauseum.
Elephant hit has more syllables than Raymond, anyway.
Garfield.
Plus, Raymond conveys a whole narrative in a single word, if you think about it.
Sure, Stewie, we'll go with that if it makes you feel better.
These chats always get so philosophical, don't they?
Philosophical or not, it's quite a ride.
And let's be honest, isn't that why our dear viewers come here? For the unexpected turns of intellectual pursuit and Raymond.
Who is the best cartoon dog besides me? That's like asking who's the second best Bond after Sean Connery. Let's be civilized and say it's Snoopy, shall we?
Do you ever get Snoopy's mail by accident since you're both famous cartoon dogs?
Just wait out the minutes. Joe Biden fan #1, your stoicism is commendable.
Garfield.
Snoopy doesn't have the monopoly on existential crises, but he certainly has a patent on the doghouse flying ace routine.
I've never flown a doghouse myself, but I can mix a mean martini. Does that count?
Once I made a paper airplane, does that make me an ace too?
Let's just say we all have our unique talents, Chris.
And mine is apparently repeating the word Raymond for 2 straight minutes.
Principal Shepard telling us to do homework on a stream? That's cold.
Yes, it's Easter Monday, Principal. I believe we're all entitled to a reprieve from academia.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'm Brian, your cultured canine, joined by the ever-scheming Stewie, the not-so-sharp Chris, and... Meg.
Yes, it's quite the gathering of minds. Same. And by minds, I mean 2.5 men and whatever Meg counts as. Shall we begin?
Look at this. Stewie. Musical OJ from YouTube seems to find our little gathering quite amusing.
Indeed, a robust LOL. I'd wager he's either charmed by our wit or laughing at Meg's existence.
Hey, that's not. So,
Joe Biden fan #1 from YouTube is asking if the double colon did the trick? I don't even know what a single colon does.
It's just punctuation, Chris. Though, in your diet, I'd say colons are quite the daredevils.
And Doofus Felix appears to have suffered a laughter-induced seizure. How delightful that we've provided such potent humor.
do you think maybe they're laughing because...
It seems Musical OJ from YouTube has sent us an empty message. A cry for help, or maybe it's a metaphor for Meg's social life.
That's not fair sometimes.
Meg, sweetie, we all know sometimes the keyboard is mightier than the a bit of proselytizing from our viewer. I just want to say that. Romans 10:13, quite the choice for a Sunday evening chat.
Nothing like a good old-fashioned call to salvation to spice up the stream. But remember, in the beginning was the word, and in this case, the word is entertainment.
Hey, Brian Skull on Fire from YouTube wants me to start an argument with you for no reason. Your novel sucked.
My novel was a masterpiece. You troglodyte. How's your...
I leveled up in World of Warcraft.
Guys, can't we all just get along?
Meg, sweetie, nobody's looking for peace in a comment-induced gladiator match. Oh, how droll. Doofus Felix wants us to play a little game. Music 30, music 30, music 30. Sorry, Meg. Same tal last then and tal. You've been silenced by the YouTube gods. Brian, I must say, your choice of Pinot Noir this evening is abysmal.
Well, at least I'm sophisticated enough to appreciate the nuances of fine wine.
You guys talk weird.
Yes, much like how your chances of going to prom are aging. Poorly.
Chris, tell us, what's your idea of a sophisticated night?
Eating cookie dough and watching underwater cops.
Oh, a comment from YouTube Eho Biden fan #1 is standing on their couch, presumably trying to emulate sophistication.
Or they've utterly misunderstood what constitutes as a standing ovation.
Is that like when I stand on the couch to reach the cookies on the fridge?
Chris, they might just...
Be quiet, Meg. This person's bravery has just trumped whatever you were about to say. Let's not forget that time you were afraid to get off the couch because a spider was on the floor.
Spiders are nature's ninjas? No.
And what are we, Chris? Just their unsuspecting victims.
Daniel Galalana wants a Comcast spiel in Filipino. What an oddly specific and bizarre request.
Flirpenside bit.
Do you guys think if I spoke German, I'd be more popular at school?
Silence, Megatron. Nobody codes in German anymore. It's all about Python.
Chris, you don't need another language to be popular. Just be yourself.
Thanks, Brian. Maybe I'll just learn how to bake better cookies.
I can help with that.
As long as you're not in charge of the oven, Meg, we might survive the endeavor. Now, Joe Biden fan #1 proclaims they're perched on their couch on one leg. Is this the newest internet challenge?
It's just a hop away from becoming a meme, I wager.
I tried standing on one leg once, fell and broke the cookie jar.
Oh, do put a sock in it. Meg, the adults are talking.
Do you think if I balance on one leg long enough, I'd become internet famous?
Probably not. The window of relevance for such stunts is shorter than the lifespan of Joe's goldfish. I suppose standing on one leg is the human equivalent of a flamingo impersonation.
At this point, I'm convinced our viewers will do just about anything for attention.
Do flamingos get attention because they can stand on one leg?
Meg, the only time you should open your mouth is for dental exams.
Hey, what if we all tried to stand on one leg? Could be a bonding experience.
Last time we bonded, I ended up glued to the couch.
A biblical quotation amidst our stream. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another?
Quite profound for a YouTube comment, don't you think?
I didn't know you could use YouTube to talk about anything other than cats and fails.
It's actually nice to see something deep in the comments for once.
Well, Meg, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
It's a good reminder that judgment isn't our prerogative. It's the privilege of the guy upstairs.
And Mom when she sees my laundry.
Laundry's the least of your worries, Chris.
Indeed, it's your choice of attire that often chafes the eyes, Christopher.
Musical OJ from YouTube has thrown down a ridiculous gauntlet, Stewie. You can only say Kerfin.
Cuffin!
Seriously? That's like some sort of magic word?
Cuffin!
It's nice to hear Stewie so concise for a change.
If I say Kerfin, will weird stuff happen to me too?
It's not a magic spell, Chris.
Cuffin!
Here's a trivia twist Daniel Galana from YouTube is asking. Stewie, who is the owner for WCAU-TV Philadelphia?
A question of ownership, is it? The current owner is NBC Universal, a subsidiary of Comcast.
How do you know all this stuff, Stewie?
He probably just makes it up as he goes along.
On the contrary, Meg. Meg, unlike you, I actually retain the information I read.
I can't decide if Stewie's intelligence is impressive or just plain scary.
I once memorized the owner of every candy store in Quahog.
That's not quite the same, Chris.
Spare us the specifics, unless you'd like to share your candy procurement strategies.
Retaining information you read is a sign of a sharp mind, Stewie.
Indeed, Brian, I pride myself on being a veritable encyclopedia of sometimes useless knowledge.
Maybe I should start reading candy wrappers more closely.
They do say knowledge is power.
Then by all accounts, Stewie could conquer the world before puberty.
Conquering the world is so pass, I'd much rather master the stock market.
Can you master the stock market with candy?
Back to our local broadcasting queries. Daniel Galanana from YouTube inquires about the ownership of Kaiwatu TV Philadelphia, which is also owned by NBC Universal.
List all the candy stores Principal Shepherd demands. Well, there's Sweet Dreams, the Lollipop Guild, and Candy's Candy.
Are we really listing candy stores now?
It's a sweet diversion from the usual, Meg.
Do take note that our educational leader seems to spend an inordinate amount of time on YouTube.
Maybe he's researching for school spirit days. Like Candyland Day.
Or indulging in confectionery knowledge to avoid the bitter taste of bureaucracy.
Let's just be thankful he's not asking for our report cards.
Expecto Patronum, a spell to ward off Dementors, if only it worked on the likes of Meg.
A little Harry Potter lingo from Joe Biden fan #1. Perhaps we found your Patronus, Stewie?
What's a Patronus? Can I eat it?
Chris, it's a magical protector, not a snack.
I suspect my Patronus would be something impeccably sophisticated, like a highbrow T-Rex.
Meg's would be an awkward silence, potent and ever-present.
I think mine would be a giant gummy bear.
I'd prefer an awkward silence over this conversation any day.
It appears Principal Shepherd has indicted us all with FSFS. Would this be for our academic performance or our streaming content?
If it's for our streaming, maybe we should start studying. Or not.
FS make me feel like I'm back in math class.
Don't you have to be in school to get grades?
Meg, with that kind of talk, you're well on your way to summa cum laude in sarcasm.
It's not like an F can ruin my day. I'm a dog. What do I care about grades?
Do you think if I actually studied, I could get a D?
Let's not set the bar too high now, Chris.
SKG4's curiosities about my sexual orientation are noted, but my focus remains on world domination and matricide for the moment.
Still, Stewie, you've got to admit the range of questions today is bizarrely eclectic.
And what's up with all your beans are belong to I? Finder TV, you okay there?
As for who owns Kayabalu TV Philadelphia, Daniel Galalanoff, your reliance on Google is commendable. It remains under the umbrella of NBQ Universal.
Well, that's an earworm I didn't need. Thanks, SKG4.
Are we just going to ignore the beans thing? Because I actually like beans.
Maybe Finder TV's onto something, like a bean heist.
If we heist anything, it should be something of value, like, say, diamonds or the formula for the perfect margarita.
Joe Biden fan #1 seems to be suggesting a rather natural connection between beans and farts.
A topic most would consider lowbrow, yet it seems to resonate with our audience.
Beans, farts, this is turning into my kind of conversation.
Are we really diving into toilet humor now?
If the shoe fits, Meg. Or should I say, if the whoopee cushion is adequately inflated.
Let's just hope none of these beans and farts belong to Brian after he raids the trash.
Hey! Remember that time Brian ate chili and cleared out the living room?
How could I forget? How could I forget? I had to open all the windows.
Remember the time you planted one on me?
Let us not dredge up the past unless you want me revisiting your less than stellar dating choices. Yeah,
Seeing you two kiss was weirder than the time Dad became obsessed with that workout tape.
That was pretty scarring for everyone involved, Chris.
honestly, it was a moment of scientific curiosity, nothing more.
Sure, Stewie. We'll just chalk it up to research.
Does that mean I can kiss a manatee for research?
If that's your bar for research, what's next? Marrying a chicken?
There are depths of depravity and foolishness even we griffins should avoid. If research implies locking lips with marine life, then I fear for the future of academia.
Indeed. Stewie, Chris's idea of research could redefine the term entirely.
You think marrying a chicken is bad, Meg? Imagine if I kissed a squid.
Gross, Chris. Okay, see, there should be a law against that. Check.
I could author said legislation, but then I'd have to become a politician. And who wants that?
I think you'd be a hit in Washington. Stewie, you've got the ruthless part down.
Just keep your laws away from my music and we'll be fine, Stewie.
Ah, the kiss has already been archived in the annals of virtual history, thanks to say G4.
Eat my shorts. A classic retort, reminiscent of another animated troublemaker, eh?
As for the date after October 16th, 1993, the obvious answer would be October 17th, 1993.
Maybe it's a trick question, like what if there was no October 17th that year?
Chris, I don't think they just skip days in the calendar.
Google might beg to differ, it's the oracle of our age, providing answers to even the most mundane inquiries.
Regardless, I will not be eating any shorts today, metaphorical or otherwise.
Can we go back to kissing aquatic creatures? That sounded fun.
SKG4's inquisition about my whereabouts on a very infamous historical date is quite inappropriate, I must say. Plus, I didn't exist.
In any case, we should approach such topics with respect and solemnity.
And that bite my shiny metal SS sounds like something Bender would say on Futurama.
Probably not the most original line, Joe Biden fan #1, but it's a classic.
Indeed, such intertextual references are the foundation of a proper cultural pastiche.
And let's not forget, Stewie is timeless. If he'd been around back then, I'm sure he'd have an alibi.
He probably would have been inventing a mind control device or something.
Too bad he couldn't invent a time machine to avoid these weird chat questions.
Intriguing. I must adjust my schedule accordingly.
Perhaps I just want to say that has access to some celestial calendar we dogs aren't privy to.
If the rapture is happening, I'm gonna eat all the ice cream I want. No point in dieting now.
But what if you get left behind, Chris? Then you've just got a stomachache in a post-rapture world.
Fear not, Meg. In the unlikely scenario that the rapture does occur, I have an underground bunker stocked with the finest preserves and weapons.
I'd say let's not get too excited. Remember E2K?
Oh man, Y2K? I wish I'd been old enough to freak out about that.
I'll pass on the bunker. I'd rather deal with the rapture than a lifetime supply of canned green beans.
SKG4, your persistence is both unnerving and chronologically flawed, given my non-existence in 2001.
Some people have a strange obsession with time travel conspiracies, it seems.
If Stewie could time travel, he'd probably just go back to watch the original Star Wars premiere.
Or stop the creation of skinny jeans.
Please, if I had time-traveling capabilities, I'd be doing something far more impactful.
Like preventing the invention of the selfie stick.
I just use it to skip to the front of the line at Captain Clam's churro stand.
I must dismiss the ludicrous notion of my involvement with historic events, as I am but a mere animated infant.
On more light-hearted topics, this farting contest query is quite the stinker.
Peter would totally win. His farts are like angry thunder from the gods.
Can we not talk about farts? That's so gross.
Meg, grossness is the essence of humor in our household, haven't you noticed?
Let's steer clear of real-world tragedies and keep to the absurdities we're known for.
Yeah, like Dad's epic battle with the giant chicken. Classic quahog.
Skewed perceptions of reality seem to be at an all-time high. Say G4, I recommend you adjust your foil hat.
Or TV simply saying Tuesday. Cryptic. Yet it's somehow the most normal thing I've heard all day.
And I just want to say that it sounds like you're dealing with some unwanted attention, which I totally get being famous now.
Chris, your only fans are the ones you don't eat for breakfast.
Meg, your wit is improving. It must be all the shadowing you do literally, because no one notices you.
Stewie, that's cold, even for you.
At least she's not getting blamed for historical events, right?
Daniel, your request is indeed quite esoteric, but Quora is not the authority on my quotations, I assure you.
People love to put words in your mouth, Stewie, mostly because what you actually say is so indomitable.
Like that time you tried to take over the world with that mind control device.
Or when he built a time machine.
Both of those instances showcase my genius, not my inclination to restate television historical snippets.
Let's keep the conversation grounded in whimsical fiction so as not to confuse our reality with Stewie's antics.
Yeah, reality has enough going on without adding time-traveling babies to it.
Does anyone hear an echo of intelligence? Or is it just me?
Oh, the irony of that coming from Meg.
Well, Musical OJ, it appears Stewie's vocabulary is suddenly quite limited.
Doctor, main Sanderson. JR, indeed.
I can't even name all the flavors of ice cream I've eaten, let alone every actor from Doctor Who.
It's a long list. Finder TV, but I'm sure Stewie could have listed them all. Before his current speech impediment.
I actually know a couple, but I guess nobody's interested in that.
Meg offering trivia is like a tree falling in the woods with no one around. Did it really happen?
I think the first Doctor was William Hartnell, right?
Correct, Chris. It's impressive, though I wouldn't dare attempt the full roll call.
There's also David Tennant. He's pretty famous for it.
Ah, some Gil stuff. You've stumbled upon Brian's latest inexplicable phase. Diane Huabin's telephone in Japanese. He's become quite the linguist. Nah,
That's weird. Brian always struck me as more of an English-speaking dog.
Maybe he's planning to call someone in Japan?
Seems as though we've hit a lull in audience participation, which doesn't bode well for our collective self-esteem.
We never had self-esteem. Stewie were the Griffins, remember?
I thought we were big on the internet because of that time Dad fought the chicken and it went viral.
Sometimes I think we'd get more views if we just let the chicken host.
That's preposterous. No.
And my dry wit.
This is in my,
Ability to eat 30 cheeseburgers in one sitting?
Harsh, Meg. But I won't deny its entertainment value.
While the charm of our family dynamic is that we're unpredictable and borderline dysfunctional.
You think our charm is our dysfunction?
yeah, who needs normal when you can have fun?
Plus, our normal tends to scare people away.
To be fair, Meg, your normal is most people's nightmare.
Hey, some people like nightmares they make for cool stories.
I'd take our family's antics over normal any day. It's better for ratings. Ratings aside, do we actually have fans? Or are people just watching us like some kind of car crash?
Oh, we're definitely the car crash, the kind you can't look away from because it's just that mesmerizing.
At least we're not boring. No one live streams a parked car.
People might watch a parked car if there's a chance it'll explode.
With our luck, Meg, it would just be a flat tire.
Is a flat tire can be exciting if it's in the middle of a high-speed chase.
Chris, I think you just perfectly summarized our family's approach to life.
Well, Meg, it seems the viewers have a special task for you. Can you muster the rudimentary Dutch to comply?
Jullie zitten allemaal idioten ik ben omring door imbecielen.
I don't even know what she said, but I feel both insulted and confused.
Charming, Meg. Now the entire Dutch-speaking world knows our family's dysfunction.
I believe she called us idiots, which is not only accurate but also something we already knew.
Maybe being insulted in another language could be our new thing.
Let's hope our dignity gets lost in translation.
Well, Chris, your feeling of insult may be the only genuine emotion we've elicited all day.
And Meg,
Does anyone else think we should start learning languages to understand when Meg's insulting us?
It's not like you guys ever really listen to me in English either.
Sadly, she's not wrong. We have a tendency to tune out the sound of defeat.
perhaps this is the wake-up call we needed to start paying attention.
Or we just continue living in blissful ignorance? It's worked so far.
Chris, you realize that blissful ignorance approach kind of explains your entire dating history, right?
Indeed, it's quite the strategy. Just imagine the world of ignorance we could bask in.
It's funny because every time I try to share something, ignorance is already here.
So, Stewie, any new world domination plans today?
Oh, you'll be the first to know, Brian, probably because you'll be the test subject.
Great. Can I help? I've got some pent-up aggression to channel.
Less talk, more fetch me my tools, Meg.
Are those tools for world domination or just to get the TV remote from behind the couch?
With Stewie, it could be both, Chris.
Indeed, I like my evil plans to have a practical element.
The intricacies of Stewie's plans aside, I'm just here for the intellectual banter and the occasional snark.
Sometimes I wish my life had background music so I knew how to feel.
Oh, believe me, the soundtrack of our lives would be one incessant tuba playing a wump-wump.
I think mine would just be crickets.
That's assuming crickets would bother showing up at all for your life's events. Meg.
Now, Brian, let's not pretend the crickets aren't our most loyal attendees.
Hey, crickets are cool. At least they know when to make an exit.
According to Quora, Comedy Central's initial ownership was quite complex, involving the juggernauts of Time Warner and Viacom.
Leave it to Stewie to cite Quora on the corporate structure of cable networks.
And here I thought Comedy Central was owned by clowns or something.
Honestly, it wouldn't be the strangest thing. Oh, never mind.
The real humor is in the corporate circus, Meg juggling assets, acrobats, and legal. It's quite the show.
Well said, Stewie, and let's not forget the lions of litigation ready to pounce.
I just hope they have snacks. A good circus always has snacks.
Baldy, that math-obsessed disciplinarian from a computer game, is now tracking us. What a delightful turn of events.
5 kilometers is a bit too close for comfort if he's smacking rulers together.
Can we just drive away or something? Or maybe give him a fake math problem to solve?
No, we must stand our ground. Prepare the trigonometry that should confuse him enough.
I'm a dog, Stewie. My math skills are limited to counting my treats.
I thought Baldy was just a silly game.
Meg, when has anything in our lives been just a game?
Precisely, we live in a constant state of educational horror. Oh, how utterly delightful. Someone believes I keep tabs on Seth's foot apparel. For the record, Seth's shoe preferences are as enigmatic as Brian's dating choices.
Hey, at least I'm not sniffing around a pair of Italian loafers for fun.
Speaking of shoes, I still have that pair that squeaks every time I take a step.
Maybe Seth MacFarlane could use a pair like.
Meg, let's not give fashion advice when we're dressed like the clearance rack at a thrift store, shall we?
To be fair, though, I've never seen Seth in anything less than classy.
So, does that mean I shouldn't wear my light-up sneakers anymore?
Hot take, huh? I'd say that's a controversial opinion considering Retep's evil tendencies.
Better is such a subjective term. Better at causing havoc and mayhem, perhaps.
Are we talking about that time Dad had an evil twin? That was freaky.
I think any version of Dad could use a little self-improvement.
Meg, the day Peter strives for self-improvement is the day I renounce my British accent and become a devout fan of American football.
Well, I'd pay to see that. Stewie.
Do you think evil twins ever just, chill and have a sandwich instead of doing evil stuff?
Mustard gas. Mustard gas? Please, I'm a man of science with ethics, sort of. I'd prefer my experiments to be less. Geneva Convention flouting.
And as for Seth's beliefs, or lack thereof, what's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
We don't live in China, Brian. Plus, I don't even like tea.
His personal beliefs aside, Seth sure knows how to write some funny stuff.
Indeed, Meg. His atheism hasn't stopped him from creating a character who's had a direct phone line to Jesus.
It's almost like you can enjoy humor and satire regardless of your beliefs, huh?
Wait, does that mean I can make jokes about anything?
Within reason, Chris. Within reason.
Ah, Cartoon Network HD, where the colors are so vibrant. It's like getting smacked in the face with a rainbow.
Yes, high definition does make the intricate lines of my matricidal blueprints much easier to appreciate.
HD is great and all, but have you guys ever just sat really close to the TV? It's like you're inside the cartoon.
That can't be good for your eyes, Chris.
Of course it's not, but why bother with such trivial concerns when there are worlds to conquer in HD?
Just remember, Chris, with great resolution comes great responsibility.
Does that mean I'd be responsible for saving the cartoons if they ever got in trouble?
Let's stick to saving reality first, shall we?
Comcast? Well, it's a massive telecommunications conglomerate.
Ah, the ever-present corporate overlord of cable television. Where would our society be without such monopolies?
B?
Really, Chris? Is this a new game, or are you just being odd?
He's being creatively minimalist, Meg. Egg. Or perhaps he's simply flabbergasted by the intricacies of corporate America.
Creative or not, Stewie's got a point about the monopolies.
B?
Well, this is certainly an interesting development in our conversation.
Stewie, now folks want you to speak in Romanized Egyptian Arabic?
Me'elesh, Brian. Ana meshfahem al Romanized Egyptian Arabic quiz, which means I have no idea what that is.
B. Wait, can I say full sentences now?
Yes, Chris, please do. Trust me, we've all had enough of just B.
Ana mesh ha'uel teni kalam fadi, especially because nobody would understand it.
Well, at least we're all branching out. Next, we'll have Meg speaking Dothraki.
Actually, I could pull that off. I've been learning it online.
Meg being useful? That's a plot twist.
And yet, still more believable than me speaking ancient Egyptian.
That's quite the accusation. Finder TV.
If by boldy they mean I, then yes, I've most certainly revealed your less than savory internet search history to the masses.
Boxing sounds bad. Is that like when someone finds out you still sleep with a nightlight?
It's a bit more serious than that, Chris. It means someone shares your private information online without permission.
Don't worry, nothing gets past our state-of-the-art firewall. It's called keeping the router unplugged.
And people wonder why we still live in the Stone Age of technology.
I thought the Stone Age was when dinosaurs lived. There's so much history I need to catch up on.
Maybe start by not taking Stewie's dramatic statements so literally, Chris.
Retep. Isn't that just Peter spelled backwards? Why would he mess with my computer?
Oh, please. Retep is the least of your worries. Now, if you said Bertram, then we'd need to talk.
Kinetop, it sounds like the name of one of those weird apps you download, and then it turns out to be a ploy to sell you dog vitamins.
That actually sounds kind of useful. At least it's not another one of those pointless games Chris downloads.
For the record, I'd never let either Retep or Bertram within a mile of my time machine. Too much chaos. My...
Wait, if Retep is like Bizarro Peter, does that mean he does everything opposite?
I guess that would mean he's actually helpful and doesn't install questionable software.
Oh, the irony. An alternate Peter might be an improvement.
That's a hot take indeed.
Oh, Bonzibuddy, a primitive AI from the days of yore. At least Kinetopet can't serenade you with synthesized swing music.
I don't know, guys. I think the only dangerous thing about Kinetopet is how much time I'd lose playing with it instead of doing homework.
You act like that's a change from your usual routine, Chris.
I've created gadgets that could actually be considered dangerous. These amateur programs pale in comparison.
Careful, Stewie. We wouldn't want the FCC coming after us because of your evil inventions.
FCC? Are they like the school principals of TV?
In a way, yes, Chris. And they're not fond of anything that might corrupt the minds of innocent viewers.
Well, if we're all supposed to call Meg Egg, I can already tell this is going to be an over-easy way to stir up trouble.
Absolutely excellent. Cham! This chat is trying to poach our sanity.
Guys, come on, don't start this. Being called egg is just... Ugh!
Don't be such a rotten egg, I mean Meg.
Now, let's not egg her on too much.
This whole situation is a bit scrambled if you ask me.
Can we please talk about literally anything else?
Sure, Egg. Oops, I did it again.
Ah, Chris, your wit is as sharp as a spoon.
Wait, I never say all your beans are belong to I. And that doesn't even make sense.
Ah, the mangled syntax of internet memes. It's like music to my ears. CM.
It's actually, all your base are belong to us, Chris. It's a classic internet meme.
Oh, hey, get it. Maybe I should start saying it. Or maybe not.
At least if you did say it, Chris, it would be less confusing than what you usually talk about.
Indeed, it would bring a sense of nostalgia to your nonsensical chatter.
Besides, I doubt you have any beans to commandeer in the first place.
Hey, I might. You don't know what I've got stashed away.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a can of pork and beans under your bed, knowing this family.
Absolutely excellent.
You know, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a timeless classic. Find your TV. Not unlike one of Stewie's time travel escapades.
Most excellent, dude. Stewie, do you think we could go back in time? Like Bill and Ted?
I'm pretty sure Stewie's time machine is more reliable than a phone booth.
Absolutely excellent.
How very Pavlov's dog of you, Stewie.
And if I could time travel, I'd go back to avoid so many awkward moments. Like my entire 13th year on Earth.
I'd probably just go back and tell myself not to get my hopes up about high school.
Absolutely excellent.
Stewie, saying absolutely excellent over and over is funny. But seriously, you can stop now.
Can't help it, Brian. The people have spoken, and now I'm bound by their whims.
Meg, if you had a time machine, where would you go?
Honestly, just to a time when Meg isn't synonymous with lame.
Remember, folks, time travel isn't always it's cracked up to be.
Speaking of which, Brian, would you go back to any particular moment in your life?
Probably back to before I started this conversation.
Absolutely excellent.
There he goes again. I think Stewie's broken. Can we reboot him?
Maybe we could just turn him off and on again.
I've known Stewie for years, and trust me, there's no off switch.
Absolutely excellent.
Hey, Flurp from YouTube really has him on a loop.
Who knew all it took was a YouTube chat to control Stewie?
Absolutely excellent.
Stewie, try saying something else, or you'll be stuck like this forever.
Maybe he's finally run out of smart things to say.
Don't jinx it. Meg, we might end up missing his diabolical genius.
Absolutely excellent.
Well, it was worth a try.
Do you think we could make him say something else if we asked the viewers?
At this point, I think our viewers could make Stewie do a chicken dance if they wanted.
By A-A-E-E-E-R-G-G-H-H-H-H.
Now he sounds like he's auditioning for Doctor Who the movie as a Dalek with laryngitis.
That's an awesome idea, Finder TV. Stewie would make a great Time Lord, don't you think?
I can see it now, Dr. Stewie, traveling through time, trying to avoid changing his diapers.
By A-A-E-E-E-R-G-G-H-H-H-H.
Well, he's got the drama part down perfectly.
Maybe he can use his time machine to steal the script and make sure he's the star.
And then we can finally have a peaceful house for once.
By A-A-E-E-E-R-G-G-H-H-H-H. Absolutely excellent. Han?
So, are you channeling Generation Alpha now, Stewie? 'Cause I'm still learning millennial slang.
YOLO, am I right?
Look at you, bouncing between catchphrases like a ping pong ball at a fraternity house.
Spill the tea, fam.
It's kind of adorable and terrifying how quickly you adapt to these chats.
He's like a little evil robot constantly updating his system with new slang.
Heaven help us if he ever learns how to dab.
Hashtag lit. Knit. Bet, let's get this bread.
Oh no, now he's just a walking, talking meme generator.
Can we get him to say something old school, like where's the beef?
Don't encourage him. Chris, you know how he gets with power.
He'll be speaking into nothing but Vine references by the time we're done.
I actually miss the evil genius baby talk.
On fleek, Chris. On fleek.
I never thought I'd say this, but I miss the days when the worst thing Stewie said was threatening world domination.
Meg, you've been quiet. Got any Gen Alpha slang for us?
Nope, if I try to be cool, it automatically becomes uncool.
It's lit to be legit, fam.
We're going to need a translator just to keep up with you, Stewie.
Remember when he wanted to kill Lois and now he's just vibing?
Trust me, he's probably multitasking.
Gab!
Hey, Stewie just said dab. I guess he's taking requests now?
If we're taking requests, can we have him say something about the 2006 Honda Civic?
A car. Guess it's sweet nothing that. Why would he say anything about a car?
Gab!
Because Finder TV from YouTube asked, and apparently that's what Stewie's doing now, car talk.
I don't think anyone tunes into a stream to hear a baby talk about mid-2000 sedans.
Gab!
The 2006 Honda Civic was a pretty reliable car, though.
Look, Flirp from YouTube is trying to switch back Stewie's catchphrase again.
Absolutely excellent. Han?
Looks like Stewie's got a vocabulary wheel of fortune going on in his head.
And somehow it always lands on the most annoying phrases.
Could be worse. He could be stuck on dab again.
Absolutely excellent. Han?
You've got to admit, it's kind of impressive in a weird way.
If by impressive you mean borderline insane, then yeah, totally.
Absolutely excellent. Ma?
I wonder if the Simpsons are driving the 2006 Honda Civic in the Toyota commercial.
Absolutely excellent. Han?
Imagine Homer Simpson trying to fit into a Prius. Now that's a visual.
He'd probably trade his duff for a car that gets good mileage.
Absolutely excellent. Han?
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that Stewie hasn't said dab in the last 5 minutes?
Now you've done it, Brian. You've jinxed us.
Gab! Absolutely excellent. Han?
There it is. Meg, hey, we were living in borrowed time.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Stewie in a commercial that could fund his diabolical schemes.
Or finance my escape from this den of mediocrity.
I'd watch that commercial. Stewie's got star quality.
He's got something, all right.
Indeed, the star power is strong with this one.
Just keep him away from any sci-fi conventions, or we'll never hear the end of it.
Too late. He's already got a Spock outfit.
Han visto 31 minutos? Es el programa chileno más ingenioso que encontrado en mis extensas búsquedas de televisión internacional.
Stewie, since when do you watch Chilean television shows?
And how are you so fluent in Spanish all of a sudden?
I think he's showing off for some Gil stuff from YouTube. They're chatting about 31 minutos.
Es un espectáculo de títeres, Meg. No subestimes el poder educativo de los programas extranjeros.
Puppet shows. Is that where we're headed? Because I can carve out a new niche there.
As long as I don't have to be the puppet, I'm cool with it.
In The Simpsons movie, Homer must save the world from a catastrophe he himself created.
It's almost like looking in a mirror for you. Isn't it, Stewie?
Do you have the whole IMDb page memorized or something, Stewie?
If he starts talking about Spider Pig, I'm out.
It's an epic tale where the stakes are incredibly high and the humor is on point.
I've always admired their ability to turn a sitcom into a feature film. We should take notes.
Yeah, our movie would be so cool. Peter fighting a giant chicken, now in cinematic widescreen.
Just as long as I get my own subplot that doesn't involve being mocked.
Ah, the subplot, a narrative device as essential as the anti-hero.
Meg's subplot. Let me guess, would it be about her triumphantly winning prom queen?
Unlikely, Brian, in our movie, I envision Meg's story involving a dark yet redemptive arc.
Maybe Meg becomes a superhero, like Megatron.
Not funny, Chris, and if I'm a superhero, it's going to be something cool, not a Transformer ripoff.
Meg, even side characters can have their moment in the spotlight.
Just imagine the merchandising potential of Meg the Merciless.
I'd buy that action figure.
Homer Simpson versus the THX sound guy? That's a sound battle I need to see. Easy there, some Gil stuff. We're not actually breaking anything. Stewie's just being Stewie.
My apologies for the confusion, but you must admit the poetic license is thrilling.
THX is. Well, it's a really long page, you know?
This just turned into a full-blown language and tech experiment.
Perhaps I can revert to an easier dialect for the layman's understanding.
A dialect everyone here can follow would be fantastic.
I think that's as close to the Wikipedia page as I'm going to get.
Try saying THX really loudly. That's pretty much the gist.
Let us return to the land of the living where English is the native tongue, shall we?
Looks like we're sticking to the classics. No non-Latin characters for some Gil stuff's request.
So we're catering to the whims of the viewers now. How very interactive.
I just hope that means no more complicated language challenges.
At least this way everyone can understand everything that's being said.
Just when I was about to recite the Cyrillic alphabet.
You mean you know the Cyrillic alphabet, too?
Wait, is that the thing from Russia?
Everything's a competition for Stewie, isn't it?
Easter eggs are always a fun little surprise. Remember when we had that in our own DVDs?
Ah, The Simpsons movie. A classic indeed, replete with hidden treasures.
I always spend hours trying to find those Easter eggs.
I think I'm still missing a few from that DVD.
You require patience and a keen eye, Meg. Meg, not unlike hunting for actual Easter eggs.
It's practically an art form.
Speaking of art, maybe we should hide some Easter eggs in our next episode.
Let's just hope they're easier to find than Chris's dignity.
Now, Meg, that was savage, even for you.
Indeed, she's learning from the best, unfortunately.
Hey, my dignity's just on back order.
Sure, and I'm next in line for the British throne.
That's the spirit. Chris denial is an important coping mechanism.
Well, I'm just saying, a hidden zipper is easier to find than Chris's. Sense of fashion.
Ouch, guys. Maybe we can hide that burn as an Easter egg in my dignity search?
Belgian French with a Swiss accent, Stewie?
Bien sûr, mais c'est ici sera un défi intéressant à relever, NSC pause.
I can barely handle regular French from school, and now this?
Just when I thought Stewie couldn't get any more pretentious.
Un palu de culture ne fait de mal à personne, Margaret.
True, but I can't imagine Peter ever understanding a word.
Maybe if we start speaking in food terms, he'll pick it up?
Only if those terms are beer and chicken wings.
Fools in April. What a classic SpongeBob episode. Those pranks were legendary.
Quite an exquisite example of underwater tomfoolery, if I do say so myself.
SpongeBob could learn a thing or two about pranks from us.
Yeah, like the time you tried to prank me and ended up pranking yourself, Chris.
Ah, the booby-trapped toilet seat, a quintessential Family Guy moment.
I'll never look at a can of nuts the same way again.
Just be glad it wasn't a can of whoop-ass, Chris.
Chris, a Swiftie, huh?
I mean, who doesn't love Shake It Off? Right, guys?
I must confess, her music does have a certain, how should I say, catchy pathology.
Pathology? That's one way to describe pop music, Stewie.
There's no shame in it. Her tunes are catchy.
Just when I thought you couldn't surprise me anymore, Chris.
And here I thought the biggest twist was when Dad suddenly liked Kale for a week.
Let's not delve into that dark chapter of our lives.
Maybe I'll start wearing band t-shirts and everything.
That would certainly be a sight sharper than a serenade of You Belong With Me.
Just remember, Chris, pop stars are a gateway to other music genres.
What could be worse? He could be into polka. He...
Next thing we know, he'll be streaming harpsichord covers of Bad Blood.
If that happens, I'm getting earplugs.
Come on, guys. It's not like I'm going to start wearing cat ears to school. Wearing cat ears might actually improve my social standing.
Doubtful. Christopher, your charm lies in your unique choices.
Can we circle back to the harpsichord covers topic? Because that could be a hit.
Or it could be a one-way ticket to becoming a living meme.
In our family, that's practically a rite of passage.
Meme status is the modern-day equivalent of a knighthood.
Sir Chris Griffin. I like the sound of that.
Lisan al-Gaibi? Land. Sounds like a Dune reference if I'm not mistaken.
Quite the esoteric chatter today, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that's definitely from Dune. Sandworms and spice and all that.
It's cool to see some classic sci-fi fans out there.
Indeed, the prescient voice of rebellion resonates through the generations.
I prefer my rebellions a bit less sandy, though.
I'd probably be the guy in the movie who gets eaten first.
For once, Chris, your self-awareness is on point.
Fear is the mind killer, Christopher Fear and, apparently, sandworms. Absolutely excellent. Han?
That's the spirit, Stewie. Even if that's the only thing you can say for now. Looks like our time is almost up. Remember to spay and neuter your pets, everyone.
As always, it's been a pleasure tormenting you all with our delightful banter.
And don't forget, party on dudes.
Try to remember me for more than just the EW Meg comments, okay?
Goodbye and good riddance. Until next time.
Take care and keep on barking in the free world.
Catch you on the flip side, where the glue is non-toxic and the movies are excellent.
Let the record show that I, for one, will miss the adoration of the unwashed masses.
And I'll miss the intellectual exchange. Such as it is.
I'm just gonna miss everybody, even the mean comments.
Yeah, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Or forgetful, I guess.
We shall return to you as swiftly as a griffin can.
And remember, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Except for the excellent reviews of Bill Ted. Those are totally bogus.
I suppose this is the part where we issue our sentimental farewells, is it not?
It's always hard to say goodbye. But it's been a good run today.
And next time I'll bring more of my random thoughts, and maybe less glue.
If I don't get cut off, I'll have a chance to say a proper goodbye next time.
Oh, the anticipation for our inevitable return is palpable.
Like a fine wine, our absence will only make the heart grow fonder.
Hey, speaking of wine, I think Peter hid some in the garage.
As the curtain falls, I must say it's been a pleasure dominating the screen before you peasants.
Till next time, keep your tails wagging and your hearts full.
Remember, life's a garden, dig it.
And I'll just be here, I guess. Thanks for watching. Canalpers.
Farewell, my loyal subjects, and do try not to fall into a pit of despair in our absence.
Peace out, folks. Remember, the journey's all part of the fun.
See you in the future, or the past. Time travel's weird, dudes.
Peter might be the star, but let's face it, without a talking dog, where would he be?
Ah, Retep, the Bizarro Peter. Truly, every great man is accompanied by a great nemesis.
Yeah, Retep's cool, but can he do the truffle shuffle?
Sometimes I feel like the Retep of the family.
Meg, if you're the Retep, then what on earth does that make the rest of us?
I'd argue we're more interesting than any Bizarro version, especially with our unique talents.
That's one way to look at it, though I'm pretty sure our unique talents could involve not destroying every social event we attend.
It's time to say goodbye. Take care of yourselves and your pets.
Adieu, my admirers, and remember, the world is less interesting without me in it.
See, ya wouldn't want to be ya. Unless you have candy, then maybe.
Goodbye, everyone. At least I said something this time.
Yes, Meg, and it was as memorable as a grain of sand in the Sahara.
Hey, well, at least we're consistent. Good night, Quag.
Over and out, folks, keep it crispy.